Hello and welcome to Procurement Leadership, today's Real Talk episode on competence. Unfiltered, uncut, unedited, just me sharing with you lessons learned, experiences, and what it takes to thrive in this often hectic, crazy world of procurement that we live in. I'm going to share with you the 4 stages of competence model. And I thought this was important for me to share because I end up explaining this almost every single year. And when I do, some people kind of remember this model, and then others, it's completely new to them. And this has been around a long time. It actually goes back to the 1960s. And if I recall correctly, there were 3 authors that wrote a management book, and the 4 stages of competence model has been around for a long time. And I think it's important that you understand this because this applies to every aspect in your life, whether it's a hobby, just doing a new project, or your career. And we're in multiple stages of this, and I'll explain that here in a second. And there's no age restriction. Everything from infant to child, to adulthood, to middle age, to senior, there's no age restriction. So I want to break this down real quick for you. The first level of the 4 stages of competence is unconscious incompetence. This is kind of scary. This is when you don't know what you don't know. And we all start off here at some point, especially in our careers. We might have a little rudimentary skill, but we start off in our careers, we don't know what we don't know. This can be scary because if someone doesn't know the right way to do the thing and they do it wrong, there could be consequences to this. Especially in procurement, right? Especially in negotiation. There are many different areas in here we have to be watchful. That's why we have to take care and onboard correctly our new professionals in any industry. The next level is conscious incompetence. Now we know what we don't know. And this could be intimidating and also a little scary. Let me explain. Actually, and this goes into, there's a DIP model. Let me know if you want me to do another video on that. I won't get into that too much, but there's some overlap there. You consciously understand how incompetent you are. Here's why I say it's scary. And I imagine many of you have felt this. You actually realize what you don't know. You end up having more questions than answers. You start going down a rabbit trail, and you ever felt this way too? You don't know who to believe. There might be different sources, and you need to figure out which is the way you need to do the thing or learn the thing correctly. You consciously know you have a certain level of incompetence in something. Again, this is how we rise in the different stages of the levels of competence. Now, this is good because now you can question, you can understand, you could do some deep learning, self-study, courses, education, mentorship. This is helpful, and that's what helps you bridge that gap. The next level, as you progress to your career, is conscious competence. You're good at what you do. You've been doing it a while. And I'm going to relate it to your profession. You've been in procurement, you've been doing bids, negotiation, perhaps redlining agreements, and you understand the policies, the procedures, how to do certain things. You have a certain level of critical thinking skills. In addition, you have a certain level of professional judgment that you can apply with those critical thinking skills to solve problems. So this is more complex. You can solve more complex problems. You're getting dialed in here. You're good at what you do, and you know you are. You know you have a certain level of experience and acumen in what you do. Now this next level is going to surprise you. We're progressing up the pyramid, right? This next one might surprise you. So at the last level is unconscious competence. Think about that. You are unconscious of how competent you are. You've been doing the thing for such a long time and correctly that you don't even realize that you're doing it. Now, this could be dangerous in many different ways. It could be dangerous is that you don't know how good you are, and with that, you're actually not sharing this knowledge. You're just doing things. Everything's up here. You're not creating policies or procedures or roadmaps, and you're not sharing with perhaps the new people down here that have the unconscious competence or the conscious incompetence, and perhaps you're not thinking about succession planning for your conscious competent people. Unconscious competence. You have done and rose within your profession that you don't even realize how good you are. Now, what's interesting about this is where self-doubt can creep in too, or that ugly imposter syndrome, that can creep up here, and you diminish your ability to do something. Now, this is good. This is mean you're an A player right here. You are unconsciously competent. It's almost like when you drive to work. You get in your vehicle, or maybe you get on a train, and then all of a sudden you're at your destination, and you didn't even realize what you did to get there. You're unconsciously doing your job, doing your task. Again, it could be dangerous because you need to share that knowledge with other people as well. Now, what I'm going to share with you is not a part of the 4 stages of competence model, but I'm adding my own. And that is right here at the very tippy top. This is the goal, very tippy top. So we have our 4 stages. I'm going to say at the very tippy top, we have mastery. You are a master at your task, at your profession. Now, the example I'm going to use is related to television. My wife and I enjoy certain TV shows, for example, and about competition and people striving to be the best, striving to prove their mastery of a subject. An example is Top Chef. Chefs come and they compete, and then they're crowned or deemed the top chef. There's Iron Chef as well. Project Runway. People can make garments, and then they're awarded the prize that they won, and they have mastered a certain level of their craft. There's The Voice, Forge and Fire, where I've seen a little bit of that, where people are into bladesmithing, ironwork, and then there's the Great British Bake Off. That's another one. Bakers come, and then they get the honor of this recognition. They have achieved a certain level of mastery. These are your subject matter experts. These are the people that their opinions are sought after, the people of influence in their field. I'm going to relate it to your profession. Mastery. You have rose through all of these steps, and now you have achieved a certain level of mastery. Now, I'm going to talk about something that might be a little controversial, and that is one book that talks about how to achieve a certain level of mastery is, I believe it's by Malcolm Gladwell in Outliers, and please fact check me in all of this, where he talks about it takes 10,000 hours to achieve a certain level of mastery. And I say there's some criticism behind this, but until I hear of a better way of thinking about this, a better model, I'm going to reference the 10,000 hours it takes to achieve a certain level of mastery. What does that mean, the 10,000 hours? In that book and articles, it basically suggests it takes 10,000 hours of doing a thing to achieve a certain level of mastery. And if I remember correctly, I think it's about 20 hours a week for 10 years will get you to that 10,000 hours. Here's where people get it wrong. Just doing the thing for 10,000 hours, that's not going to achieve a level of mastery. What achieves a level of mastery is deep thinking, understanding why you do the thing that you do a certain way, why things are they are, asking questions, understanding the why and the how, not just doing the task. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to you? Pairing that again with critical thinking skills and professional judgment. And here's how you can achieve a level of mastery quicker. While you're doing your 10,000 hours Again, intentional, and this is very important. You need to do your 10,000 hours with intention to understand it. And I could show you an example of that if you want me to show you that. You could do it, you need to do it with a certain level of tension. Here's a hack. Teach it. If you are able to articulate something and teach something to somebody else that's along this pyramid, the different stages of competence, if you're able to teach this and you begin to articulate it in a way, and it's going to click with your brain as well, you will achieve a certain level of mastery. And within your profession, you could be in different areas of this, whether it's conducting a bid, an RFP, negotiation, interpersonal skills, EQ. There are so many different areas. So you're not just like at one different level. Do a self-assessment of yourself on where you are in these 4 stages of competence. Whether you're unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence. And I bet you have a certain level of mastery in some of these areas. This is Mark Logan with Procurement Leadership. Thank you for joining me today with real talk about competence.